Once again, the protesters take to the streets of Khartoum. The city has been at the centre of pro-democracy demonstrations since the uprising that overthrew former leader Omar al-Bashir. The formation of a new sovereign council described as an extension of the military's takeover. And in the United Nations, the Office of the Secretary General was quick to react.
We're obviously taking a look at these developments. I would say they're very concerning. We want to see a return to the transition as quickly as possible.
The transition government was intended to guide the country towards democratic elections in 2023. It was disbanded by military leaders last month, the Prime Minister placed under house arrest, and a number of political figures imprisoned.
We have reports of another blast at a mosque on a Friday prayers. There was a blast at a mosque in Nangarhar district in Afghanistan. A bomb went off during Friday prayers at the mosque. 35 people have been reportedly injured.
Well, the latest is that there has been an explosion in Tarli area of Spingar district of Nangarhar province. That is towards the east of the country, and at least 35 people, including the Imam of the masjid or the mosque, are said to have been injured in this explosion. Local media is also now reporting this explosion. The nature of this explosion as we speak is still unclear, but what we can confirm that this explosion took place while the Friday prayers were ongoing in that very mosque.
Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele on Thursday deployed the military to patrol streets throughout the country. It's in response to a surge in murders this week, with more than 30 killings on Tuesday and Wednesday. Murder rates have dropped sharply under Bukele in the impoverished Central American nation of 6.5 million people. The country has been terrorized by street gangs after the end of its civil war in 1992. Last year, newspaper El Faro alleged government officials negotiated with gang members to reduce violence in exchange for better conditions in prison. Bukele called the article a farce, but the Attorney General said it would investigate.
Demonstrative evidence with all video.
The defense in the Kyloe Rittenhouse trial rested Thursday, moving a case that's divided the nation closer to a potential verdict. The morning kicked off with testimony from Dr. John Black, a use of force expert who analyzed multiple videos in the trial. He testified on the duration of the shooting, saying the entire event lasted 2 minutes and 55 seconds, from the time Joseph Rosenbaum chased Rittenhouse to the time the teen surrendered to police.
Based on my analysis, the kick to the face occurred prior to the gunshot.
He also testified on the second fatal shooting at the center of the case, agreeing with the defense narrative of self-defense.
After the kick, the first shot in the second event occurred. That is correct.
During cross-examination, Dr. Black said he already billed the defense about $9,000 for his services.
Oklahoma is set to execute an inmate on death row in 1 week, despite the state's parole board expressing doubts about his guilt. Julius Jones was 19 years old when he was convicted in the 1999 murder of Paul Howell. Jones and his family have argued that he is innocent. Last week, Oklahoma's Pardon and Parole Board recommended clemency for Jones. His fate is now in the hand of Governor Kevin Stitt, who will make the final decision ahead of Jones's planned November 18th execution.
I've seen it only in the media, had no official information that two tourists took photos of the Dolma Bahçe. That is not the palace of Erdogan, but the palace of past prime ministers and presidents of Turkey, because the palace of Erdogan is in Ankara and not in Istanbul. But they were arrested for kind of illegal photo taking. Sounds very strange, but unfortunately, it's in a very tense period of time with Turkey, so this can further complicate things.
Court in Myanmar has sentenced an American journalist to 11 years in prison on charges brought by the military leadership, which seized power in a coup in February. Danny Fenster was convicted on 3 charges of endangering the reputation of the armed forces and associating with illegal organisations.
Well, we know the charges because they're very specific. What we don't know much about is the procedure in court, because it was held in secret inside the notorious insane prison in Yangon, where he's been held since he was more or less pulled off a plane about to leave Myanmar back in May. Now, he's one of around 50 journalists who are still in detention. Many Burmese journalists, of course, in detention with far more desperate outlooks than his even. But this was a pretty shocking sentence, because the charges that the military applied to Danny Fenster related to a news organisation. It's one of several that are still putting out independent news, critical of the military.
Tonight, a mother's tears marking another family torn apart by the deadly Astroworld festival.
This was not concert. I don't know what it was, but this was not concert, because my baby didn't come back.
Barti Shahani died late Wednesday. The 22-year-old had been on a ventilator since Friday night's Travis Scott concert, where her cousin watched her disappear when the crowd surged. The star Texas A&M student, now the 9th life lost at the event, facing new lawsuits by the day. Police radio traffic from the Friday night concert, just obtained by the Houston Chronicle, captures the moments the concert, packed with more than 50,000 people, took a deadly turn. This transmission at 9:21 p.m.
Folks are coming out of the crowd complaining of difficulty breathing, crushing type injuries. Seems like the crowd is compressing.
A mass casualty event was declared at 9:30 p.m. Some in the crowd pleading for the show to end. Scott did not stop performing until 10:10. His representatives say he was unaware of what was happening.